Bugs check in and Johnny Bugs out. Hi friends, hey, welcome back to the Expeditionary Johnny channel. Hey, if you're new to my channel, you're going to see here the theme to my channel is to help to try to remove obstacles to getting outdoors. Now, typically that could be things like time, ideas, or maybe equipment. Now today we're going to be talking about ideas, more specifically bug out bags. Now with the recent hurricanes on the East Coast and the fires out in California on the West Coast, now more than ever, it is important for all of us to be prepared to leave our homes with very little notification. All right, so worst case scenario, you'll have zero notification. All you'll do is have enough time to grab your keys, your wallet, head out to your car, and get off the property to find some safe location. And in that case, all you're going to have to go by is what you already have on you, or maybe what you've already stored in your car. So here's the thing. Most of us are not going to be roughing it in the woods. We're more likely to go to friends, families, or maybe some public shelter there, okay? So instead of looking at a wilderness survival scenario, let's take a look at a real-world, modern bug out bag that's going to help us stay comfortable and safe. Now the first item is money. Now keeping in mind that 2 is 1 and 1 is none. You want to make sure you have more than one mode of making payments or purchasing items. I'm going to guess that most of us, when we do our shopping, we're making our purchase with plastic. What if you're in a scenario where the networks are down? So the ATM machines aren't dispensing cash and you can't make debit card and credit card purchases at the stores. Now for that reason, it's probably always a good idea to have at least some type of cash on you. Now for everyday carry in my wallet, I'm probably going to carry less than $100 because I'm just not needing it. But that doesn't mean I don't have more cash. One of the things you might consider carrying is a hideable wallet. Now for this hideable wallet, it just loops onto my belt and I can flip it on the inside of my pants. Now within it, I can store like my checkbook, spare credit cards, and some cash. All right, so next on our list are medications and important documents. All right, so if you are on any prescriptions, try to make sure you have at least, let's say, a week's worth of supply when you have to bug out there. That way, it'll allow you time to find a pharmacy to help with your next refill. Now, as far as important documents, it's always good to store them in either like a fireproof box or possibly a safety deposit box at your bank. All right, it's also a good idea to digitize your documents. That way you can store them on a small external hard drive like this, which you can easily slip into your backpack. Also, you can always store your files on the cloud. All right, I think it's definitely a smart plan to go ahead and bring your electronics with you. Much of our everyday lives are tied into our cell phones and the network out there. So just think about how you would travel on a regular airplane ride. All right, let's go ahead and start with our laptop. Let's go ahead and put that in the back of our backpack. Make sure you bring a spare battery because you might have a hard time finding a wall to recharge your phone for a couple days. Make sure you bring a plug-in device and cordage to charge your battery and your phone. External hard drives can go in a separate bag. Then we can drop the rest of our electronics into our backpack. Another thing to consider is you might purchase an extra battery pack where you can plug in your electronics and recharge your phones with this. This will give you more power and you can throw that in the back of your car until energy is restored in the area or you can find a good outlet. So next is clothing. If you're going to be away from your home for a little while, you're probably going to want to change your clothes. If you have enough notification, pack a suitcase. If not, you might consider having a get home bag. Now, what's a get home bag? A get home bag is exactly in the name. If you get broken down someplace, where you grab this bag and the contents of that will allow you to get home. You might consider keeping an extra backpack in your car that has a change of shoes in case you don't have the correct footwear, pair of pants, an undershirt, an overshirt, a compressible jacket, and maybe some wool socks. And we can easily fit this into a regular size backpack. You might also want to change of underwear too. All right, so let's talk food and water, okay? So let's just talk about our cook kit. You can have a very basic canister and little burner kit here for just a few dollars, and you're going to be able to boil several pots of water here to reconstitute, let's say, some freeze-dried meals. As for your cook kit, there's a couple of simple ways to go about it. All right. One setup is to buy a camp mug and a Stanley cook kit. You see the Stanley cook kit also goes right into the mug. That way you can boil water in one container to reconstitute your freeze-dried meals, and also you can make coffee or soup or something else there. Another popular setup is to take the same size of a camp mug and just get a larger size water bottle. It nests in there really nicely. There we go. Now we can go several weeks without eating. However, do we want to? All right, especially this day and age when we have so many readily available options. Now in my case, all right, I picked up this 72-hour kit from My Honey's Kitchen. It's a bunch of freeze-dried meals, but regardless of what brand you go with, you can pick up some freeze-dried meals or any other shelf-stable meal from the store. Just keep that ready to go. Now when it comes to water, hopefully you've already got a water system set up for your backpacking and camping. Like me, I have this here Grail that I can put in the side pocket of my backpack. Keeping in mind that 2 is 1 and 1 is none, we can have duplicates. I got the Sawyer Squeeze if you want to do that. Also, in case you have to procure water from less than desirable sources, you might consider something to filter out the large particles before you use your filter. Let's add this to the backpack. Now, if we're talking an emergency situation where you do have to bug out, they do say that you might want to have at least a gallon of water per person for each day. So you might consider getting like a 5-gallon bucket like this one. You can store that in the back of your car as well. Now, I'm not going to go over every little individual piece. If you look at videos on the 10 Seasons Survival by Dave Canterbury, he's going to talk about things like cotton. Here I've got a Chevron. I've got some bandanas. This bandana also works as a sundial for navigation purposes. I always like to keep a poncho, which is good for shelter out in the woods and also getting out of the rain. In cold weather, it's going to be an extra layer of warmth. I've got my usual tools in here, cutting tools and lighters and ferro rods and whatnot. I also like to keep a haversack in the bottom of my backpack in case I need to pick up some extra items. Women carry purses, men carry haversacks. All right, another item you might want to consider bringing is if the network is down for a while, you might bring a battery-operated radio. That way you can keep up on the news. All right. Winters out here in Nebraska can be downright cold, so it's always a good idea to keep something like a sleeping bag in your car, poncho liner, and or maybe a wool blanket, which ties right into our sleep systems, okay? So if you find yourself sleeping on a couch or maybe on a cot at a public shelter, you're gonna wanna have something to sleep under. And here's what it looks like when we put it all together in the back of our car. All right, guys, this brings us to the end of another video. I hope this gives you some ideas on things that you want to include with your bug out bag / kit. Personalize it to your situation. Me, I'm in Nebraska, so I'm mostly concerned about tornadoes. If something were to happen to my house, I'm going to hide out in my basement, and then I'm going to pop out the next day, and then we're going to deal with it. I have to bug out. These are the types of items I'm going to take with me. All right, with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. Please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you haven't already. It doesn't cost you a dime. And y'all take care and have a good week.